So here we have this lovely little Sanyo black and white portable TV. Design wise it's nothing special, but just because of the age of it, it just looks so nice. So this is from the mid 1970s, and back then it would have just looked quite standard, but because of the colour and stuff now, it just looks beautiful. That really does look just lovely. So we've got the tuning here, made in Japan stickers on both sides. Now this was sent in to me by Adam. So Adam's a handyman, and it was given to him by one of his customers. And basically he said it's dead, which it is. But he said that he got it to work by tilting it forward, and then it started to work. So, but it's dead. It's dead again now. I think I know what the problem is, and I think it's really straightforward. And this is the importance of listening to the owner of the device when they tell you what they think is wrong with it, or what happened to make it go faulty. Because I remember when I was with BT, a lot of engineers wouldn't bother asking the customer questions. I asked the customer loads of questions, and eventually you might get to the bottom of it. They might say, oh, actually, when it was really windy the other day, the line started to crackle. That's when it started. You look outside, the telephone line is fed with an overhead cable, and it's against trees. The chances are it's probably rubbing against those trees, and maybe it was damp and it's putting a slight short across the wires, or maybe that's where the crackle's coming from. You go hang out the window, give it a big whack with one of your rods, or we had these telescopic rods for measuring how high the wires were across the road. You give the cable a few whacks while the customer's listening, and then they'd be like, it's crackling now, it's crackling, because sometimes it'd be intermittent faults. And that way then you listen to the customer and you get to fix the fault a lot quicker. Obviously sometimes the customer didn't have a clue, but a lot of the times they did. Most of the times they did. Anyway, watch this. It's turn it on at the wall. When I turn it on now, it's not doing anything. Yeah, and I was thinking what he was saying about tilting it forward. Now, if you tilt it forward, you might well grab it at the back. There we go. Did you see there? It came on there. Yeah? Do you know what I think's happening? I think, I don't want to mess with it because it's a bad connection. I think there's this little plug here, and this is incredibly loose. Incredibly loose. Yeah, it's not really doing anything. This plug, it says on here, AC operation connect the jumper plug, which I presume is this. DC operation connect the DC cord plug. So I think that you have to have this plugged in, because this must be the jumper, and you can only plug it in one way because it's keyed here. I think that you have to plug this in to make it work, and then you have to unplug this and plug in a DC lead here, and then it's going to be taking, a DC maybe from a battery pack or something like that, because this is a portable TV. So I think let's get it over to the bench. Let's clean up these contacts here, and let's try to make this a better fit, and then I think it will work, because I think when you tilt it forward, you're simply moving this up like that, which is then making it work. So yeah, it's a lovely looking thing. It's not going to be a good fix, I don't think, but if it's working, there's one of these on eBay for £140 at the moment, so I'm sure if Adam didn't want it himself, I'm sure he'll probably quite like to sell it. Now, if you are a TV technician watching this, I'm not going to get involved in recapping and everything. I know something of this age would need recapping. This video is purely trying to get it to work. The picture might still be bad, but Adam can recap it himself if he so desires. Just notice it looks like we've got a headphone jack here as well, maybe. And I think, originally, it had another insert around here, maybe some red plastic or white plastic or something, because look, we have holes here and here, and at the top here and here. So yeah, I think it might be missing a little bezel. Doesn't affect the operation of it, it will just maybe look nicer. Looks nice as it is though. Now, are they the obligatory bits of white paint? Yes, they are. It's amazing, isn't it? Every item that's over 7 years old will always have dots of white on it. I suppose it's the advent of the rolling your ceilings, isn't it? Probably wouldn't have happened with paintbrushes. But I've got to be careful here, I don't want to break anything. So, It's got a super thick lead on, and also if Adam was to sell it, he'd have to change out the plug as well, because you can see these plugs are not insulated, so they're different than plugs nowadays. Nowadays plugs would have insulation down at the bottom here. So now, here. So let's have a little look on this to see where the shorts are coming from. So it goes this way. So let's see what pins are jumpered. They're jumpered. They're not jumpered. That's not jumpered. Okay, so it's just these two that are jumpered. These two far ones, which are these two. So does that mean that is these two for DC then? So when you bridge these two, it must allow the AC through. And then I suppose with the DC, maybe it's putting in like positive and negative 12 volts or 24 volt. Well, there you go, it says here, DC 12 volts. So yeah, maybe from your cigarette lighter from your car or something, you could get it to work from here. So I want to clean these up. I'm going to get some sort of fiberglass pen. I might just use a brass one so I don't get the fibers everywhere. But more importantly, somehow we need to try to squeeze these in together to make a better fit. Obviously it's unplugged. Got to be a little bit careful, because if these break off, I don't want them to short against something on the inside. They are going to be conductive, aren't they? Let me just double check that. Yeah, very. You know, they look pretty clean. Now let's get this down. And I need to get these widened up a bit, maybe even cleaned. So let me get my grinding pen. I'm just going to go roughly on the inside here. Just very quickly, I don't want to do it too much. Well, bits come out. Don't think I'm going to do it any more than that. Now, I just want to make it a little bit tighter. So, what I'm going to force down, I think if I was just to make give them a little bit of a kink on one little bit, then that would be enough. If I was to grab the whole thing and squeeze, I wonder would that have any difference on these? No. So I'm just going to go down here. And I'm just going to give them a little bend up like that. See what I mean? So they're not quite so round now. I'll do that on both sides. Well, if you have a look, there's a tiny little bit there, a little bit here and here. There, that might be just enough to make a difference. You can see it's not perfectly round now, it comes in there. I know it doesn't look as nice, but it was too loose before. Let's see what it feels like now. Right, is it even going to fit now? It's still very loose. Still very loose. So I can't get into it, it's all moulded. And I don't really want to bend those out. I suppose, do you know what? I wonder, could I bend them out a little bit? Because, you know, this would be a thing you could replace, while this is going to be harder to replace. I need it to grip better. Okay, I'll give one more go at bending up this, and if that doesn't work, then maybe what I'll do is I'll force these in a little bit towards each other, and then they're definitely going to make a contact on the inside. Try to go from the middle, it might be stronger. Must have bent them a bit. Right, let's see if we've still got continuity. Yeah. It's better. It still doesn't feel nice though. But I can hear it's scraping now on the way in. Maybe I should leave it at that. I wonder if I was to put a slight bend on these. Do you know what? Actually, they bend unbelievably easy. That's better. Yeah, it still doesn't feel nice, but it's gripping now. Yeah, there we go. That's not gonna fall out through normal operation. Right, let's just plug it in and see if it comes alive without tipping it forward. Alright, plugging it in now. And let's tilt it back the opposite way. Fantastic. Can you get a picture? Here it comes. Isn't it lovely the way it warms up? And let's see if it's still working when it's down. Yes, still working when we tilt forward. Yes. There we go. Let's just make sure that that wasn't fluke. Should turn on straight away now. So this is a 10-T150. Yeah, there we go. That on and off switch is lovely. It's even curved. That's so nice. Yeah, so that's what it was. It was loose at the back here, and simply by tilting it forward, you're knocking this up. And it probably just made a connection for a few seconds. So yeah, there we have it. Well, I've got one of these RF modulators here, and I've got it set to channel 40, and I can get this to display like a grey screen, but 40 doesn't marry up to here whatsoever, so the tuning wheel's completely out. So if you watch this now, if I turn this, there you go. So can you see there now? What is nice though, I'll show you in a second, is when you turn this, you expect these to turn really quick. They don't. The inner gear is on a different ratio than the outer one. It's really nice. I'm going to zoom in and show you that now. But look, check this out. 40, we've got something here. There's nothing plugged into here. My aim is to get My Mate Vince showing on here, because this TV would have never seen, 100%, it would have never seen the likes of YouTube, not alone My Mate Vince. Narcissistic? Yes, I know. Anyway, look, we're on 40 here. If I change the channel here, can you see it is changing here? Yeah? So we're now on 40. Let's go to 45 here. And now I'm going to go up the scale. And we should get it working on. So there you go. So that must be 45. Yet if we have a look here, it looks more like 65. So let's zoom in here. Can you see there? That's more like 65, isn't it? So I'm going to leave it on 45. Have I got a 45 on here? Yes, I have. It should be all the way up here. 45's all the way back here. This is what I mean. So look at this. I'm turning it quite a bit. But can you see how slow the inner dial's moving? That's lovely. In fact, you can see the mark on the outer dial here, how much quicker it's moving than the inner one. So it's geared differently, which is really nice for your fine tuning. Anyway, let me get it back tuned in to the middle of what I think is 45. So let's set there to, because obviously it's not going to be an exact science, there to there. So I'm going to try to get in the middle of that. So around about there. Let's try to move this dial now to equal 45. I'm going to turn the TV off. Let's see. I can see that there's a big kind of foamy rubber thing. Felty thing. Okay, that comes off very nicely. So now, how am I going to turn this to 45? That comes out, and that's just on a circular thing there, so I should be able to put that any which way I want. Right, so let's just put that to 45. Hopefully it will go on here. Will it go on here, or is it some... It's not keyed, I don't think. There we go. There, 45. Let's get this back on. Result. Well, that was incredibly easy. Well, I thought I'd go back to my roots. This sort of setup here reminded me of what I used to do on YouTube maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. So I got the Nintendo Switch out, albeit an OLED one. So out of this, it is digital. So we've got HDMI. HDMI goes into this here. We need to turn it into analog. So from here, this is converting it into AV, so a composite signal. The composite signal is being fed into that RF modulator there and turning it into radio frequency. And then radio frequency is, you could do it over the air if I wanted to set up this with various boosters, but just for the purpose of the video, I've just connected it onto these two bits here. So we're feeding the aerial straight into it here. Now, we are on channel 69. Right now, we are not on channel 69. We're on 21, so you get to see it tune in. Are you ready? And we should have this screen here on here because the switch is now docked. So around we go. So I've got to go all the way through. I did Fortnite on a boombox. It was one of my best videos. What kind of made my channel in a way. Ready? Getting close. 65. Here it comes. Boom. Look at that. Now, when I zoom in, I think you're going to get lines. There's no lines at the moment, but this is a CRT because of refresh rate and stuff. Oh, no, you've got a little line there. How nice does that look? Look at that. That's pretty good, isn't it? Black and white, obviously. Now, let's take off one of the Joy-Cons. Let's take off both Joy-Cons. Look at that. Right, let me get YouTube on this. Here we go. Here we go. Now. Oh, look at that. That looks so nice on that TV there. Trying to restore a Rolls Royce. Let's do that. Uh-oh, how do I skip? I'm going to get done.
Hi there, my name's Vince from My Mate Vince.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Series today, we're going to try to fix, you ready? Ta-da! The finest English engineering. Check it out. The Spirit of Ecstasy. Yes.
Looks so nice on the screen.
The cheapest, by far, Rolls Royce in the country. I haven't checked, it could be the cheapest in the world. This thing needs a serious amount of work doing to it. But I thought,
and I wasn't wrong. What a nightmare. Anyway, there wasn't, was it a fix? Yeah, it was a fix. I suppose that thing was a little bit loose at the back there. If I hadn't known about tipping it forward, I might have been chasing my tail there for ages. But because of that little bit of info that Adam gave me, then you've seen at the beginning of the video, when I tipped it forward, it started to work. It was purely because that thing must have just been adjusting itself ever so slightly and then working. So yeah, for me it's just nice to see something like this working with modern equipment. I always used to like messing around with stuff like that, and I haven't done it in a long time. And you know what, it still looks fantastic, doesn't it, seeing that there, because everybody says you can't do anything with these nowadays, and you're right, you can't, but you can if you just spend a little bit of time. Would you want to? Once the novelty wears off, no. Clearly, that looks much better than that. But there is still something nice about that. And I think that would suit anybody's man cave. So there we have it. It all appears to be working. So that's the brightness there. And that is the contrast. Well, a massive thank you to Adam for sending it over. It's a shame it wasn't slightly more challenging, but at the same time, it's nice to have something straightforward every now and then. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. See you soon, everyone.